We're in Washington, D.C. for a special Veterans Day edition of Cattleman to Cattleman. Joining me now is June Kester, a California cattlewoman who also sits on the board for Honor Flight Central California. June, how did you come to be involved in the Honor Flight?
Well, interesting that you ask. So my husband was the 2018 National Cattlemen's President. My children all went off to college, and I had an empty nest. So I actually am a woman of faith, and one day out checking the cows, I just asked the good Lord to fill a hole that I had. And the very next day, I got a call and heard about another organization called Mighty Oaks Warriors that I also represent. Went to work for that. It got to be a little more than I could handle, and so I called up some cattle women, and they said, one of them said, June, if you will sign up for Honor Flight as a guardian, I'll come help you with Mighty Oaks. I signed up, and I was blessed on 2017 to get a call. They had an emergency trip, and they had identified two 102-year-old World War II veterans. Couldn't wait till the next year, and so November 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, I got to come back here as a guardian of a Korean War vet, and that was the start of what you see me doing now.
Well, what an honor for you to do that, and thank you so much. So tell us a little bit maybe about how the veterans are selected for this group.
So we go out and we find them. I actually not only represent Central Coast California Honor Flight, but I also represent all 130 hubs all around this fine nation of ours, the United States. And I am doing it through agriculture. I'm doing it through anybody who will allow me to do it. I just want names. And they're like, well, how much money do you want? I said, no, I just want a name and a contact. I'll do the rest. And we find them, they sign up, and ours go on a list, and all the other ones too. And I find the closest place where they live, and that's the Honor Flight that takes them.
That's really something special. Speaking of something special, NCBA had the honor to host this group here at the NCBA office in Washington, D.C. Maybe tell us a little bit about this specific group that was here, because I know there are some ties to the beef industry in this group.
There are. So this is our third trip to National Cattlemen's Beef Association, where they are hosting us for a beef dinner, a rooftop tour. When we get here, we fly into Reagan. And we're tired. It's been a long day when you come all the way across country from California. And again, this is the third time that they've hosted us. But yes, we are very honored. My husband is a National Cattlemen's President in 2018. We have John Lacey, who my husband is the guardian for on this trip, who is a veteran. John Lacey was the last NCA president and the first NCBA president. I was so thrilled when I called him up and said, we're going back to Washington, D.C. Please come with us. And he only hesitated for a second and said, I will only come if Kevin Kester is my guardian. And Kevin Kester told me that he's been my medic before, but that he has watched me, and he says, I could never be a guardian like you are, June, so please don't ever, ever ask me. But as soon as he found out that Mr. Lacey wanted him, he is now back here as his guardian. And we are also blessed, made a few phone calls and found out that Jerry Bone, immediate past president, is also a veteran. So we connected him up, and I have there's 53 of us. So on this trip, we have one World War II veteran. We have one lady veteran who's from the Korean era. We have 12 gentlemen also from the Korean era, and we have 11 Vietnam veterans on this trip. And what Honor Flight is about is bringing them back here on their tour of honor. These memorials were built in their honor. And it started way back in 2005. Actually, a couple of doctors in Ohio, I believe it was, were doing work at a medical facility, pro bono, I understand, and got to talking to some World War II veterans, and they said, what do you think of the monument that finally got completed? And they said, we haven't been there, and most of them couldn't afford to go there. And so they got together, They took 12 veterans in their private planes back here, and that's how Honor Flight got launched. And I am so proud to say, as of May this year, over 250,000 veterans have come back here to Washington, D.C. to see be on their tour of honor, see their memorial, and it's never cost them a dime, and it never will.
It's truly an honor. It's an honor to have spent this time with you. Thank you so much, June, for all you do for this group. Thank you for what you do for our industry. Thank you for allowing us to tell your story on this show. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
The mission of the Honor Flight Network is to celebrate America's veterans by inviting them to share in a day of honor at our nation's memorials in Washington, D.C. To find an Honor Flight hub near you and to learn more, visit honorflight.org.